everybody. Welcome back to Self Perspective, a weekly video blog with information and insight to help you manage your career. You know, there are a lot of industrial segments now in our economy that aren't doing so well. If you look at healthcare, retail, publishing, media, they are all facing some really significant challenges. And there are a lot of executives that are out on the street looking for work. So despite all the crowing from Washington about our record economy, and it is a good one, we still have segments of the economy that aren't benefiting. And it is not uncommon for me to get calls every week with people saying, please find me a job. Well, first of all, the business of finding a job today is dramatically different than it was even 5 years ago. I mean, it's just unbelievably different. And a lot of the people who are hitting the market are just woefully prepared for the challenge, either emotionally or with skills, to compete in a very dramatic, dynamic environment. You have to manage your own career effectively now going forward, and you can't sit back. I don't care how good a performance you've had in your last job or how many contacts you have. You can't sit back and wait for people to come find you. If you do, you're adding months and months to your job search. In the old days, when I first started the search business 25 years ago, it was not uncommon for an executive who lost their job because of layoff or termination would be back in the saddle 4 to 6 months. Now it's 14 up to 8 to 14 months, maybe longer in some cases if there were extenuating circumstances. People want lower cost in healthcare. Well, fine. There's a cost to that. That means fewer jobs. And there are fewer jobs in publishing because people are buying and consuming information in a different way. Jobs have been sent overseas, and so there's fewer number of factories in the United States. So there's all these changes, and a lot of these changes have contributed to our strong economy. But as I said at the outset, there are costs and there are consequences. So let's today focus on what it really costs you to go find a job. Well, first of all, let's talk about what you're really going to have to do if you expect to be competitive. And this is not just me pontificating from my office. This is information that I've gathered talking to recruiters and other outplacement consultants. You're going to need to spend at least 4 to 6 hours a day, 5 days a week in your office working on your job search. If you're not spending that much time in your office, there are probably things you're not getting done that you should. You will need to post a minimum of 5 to 6 times a week, at least, posting stories that interest you about regulatory affairs or proposed legislative changes or reimbursement changes or new forms of manufacturing or new ways to deliver media content. It's things that interest you, but that reflect well on your brand. That is to say, if you post it, it's not going to be a negative, it's going to be a positive as people comment on it. Now here's the kicker. You need to connect with 15 to 30 people a week. Hopefully you've already been networking. Hopefully you have a big network as part of your ongoing professional networking activity. If you don't, it's a little late to get started. But you still have to reach into that network and reach out and talk to 15 to 30 people a week. You may start it with the LinkedIn contact or email, but you're going to have to move on to the telephone. In some cases, this is going to constitute a cold call. And if you don't like cold calling, well, great. Welcome to the club, and it's a long and distinguished list of members. But in this new environment, that's exactly what you have to do. You have to do the hard work of calling people, of sending emails, of setting news alerts so that if you hear about a hospital or a plant expanding, or if you hear about a company moving into a new area where you have expertise, that's business intelligence that you want to make actionable. And so knowing about that in advance may help you get a job. But you're not going to find that on the golf course. And you're not going to find that watching TV. You're not going to find that reading a book. It's tough, hard work to find a job. And you have to spend the time to do it. Now, I've had people say, well, why don't you find me a job? Well, here's a clue. Most of you could not afford it. Let's look at what search firms get paid. If I'm engaged to find a new vice president of operations at a $300,000 salary, my fee is going to be somewhere around $80,000 to $100,000. Okay? And if I am doing a outplacement work, my fee is generally less than $10,000. Okay? So if you want me to help you find a job, think about paying me to be in my office 4 to 5 days a week, working at least 4 hours a day on your activities, okay? Doing the things you should be doing. And I've talked to several people who've worked with companies who do precisely that. And here's what they told me, that they ended up paying an upfront fee of $10,000, and then some paid as much as $15,000 to $20,000 of their sign-on bonus or their first-year cash compensation. In one case, a new executive had to write a check for $37,000 more. So here's the point of the video today. When you lose a job, understand it's going to be really tough and it's going to be really painful to go through the process. You can hire somebody like me to coach you and give you some of the tips and to help you along and to encourage you and to be your cheerleader and to listen to you when you're mad as hell and need to vent. Hopefully to me more than you do your wife or your spouse. But the point is, if you want somebody to find the job for you, if you want somebody to do the job you don't want to do, well, get ready to write a very, very big check because it's very costly and it's very time consuming. So the point is, you need to learn how to do this yourself. We can teach you, and there are a lot of other good people out there who can do the same. And if you're taught the correct way, you're going to get information that'll serve you well for the rest of your career. I hope this information has been helpful. I look forward to seeing you next time. If you liked the video today, go to YouTube and like us and subscribe. We're always looking for subscribers. Also, you can subscribe through our website at johngself.com. We have the video on Wednesdays and published blogs on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.